Okay, talk to you.
Okay, in the Agada, by Kiddush, the second Kaddish, I'm sorry, third Kaddish. What? Third Kaddish. B'chol Yantav Chayiv Kiddush with the Sefer. Every Yantav you Chayiv Kiddush with Rabbanon. K'shachal b'Shabbos, I used to come get Ikum in Atero, and Yantav comes out in Shabbos. So the Kiddush also has the Ikum in Atero, because in Shabbos there's the Chi of Kiddush in Atero, except Al Yain is only with the Sefer, but it has the Ikum in Atero. Moisef Aleim B'Layla Hazeh. Leil Pesach, there's an addition over every other Yontif, even if it's Chal Shabbos. And what is this addition? Shu Echad Ma'arba Krisis, because the Kiddush is one of the four Krisis, Shei Mitzvah Mediv Yisefim Leil Pesach, which is a Mitzvah Mediv Rabbanon on the night of Pesach. And therefore, Aleph, Ein Mekadosh Ala Pas, you don't make Kiddush on bread. Beis, Ein Acham, nobody else can be moitzi you. Shulchan Aruch Rabbeinu Siman Tov Ayin Beis Sif Chov Beis. Gimel, the third, Deichik Atzma Lishtis Dal Kreises Afshem Azikoi Eshetzerich Ninkar Ksusoi. You have to push yourself to drink the Dal Kreises even though it harms you, or if you have to sell your clothing. The Dorim Memtes Beis, in the Gemara in the Dorim over there, you have the first din, that even though it's mazik you have to drink the al-kaises, and the Psachim Tzadik Tes on the Beis, it's Mabur over there in the Rishonim, that even though you have to sell your ksus, so you have to sell your clothing in order to buy the al-kaises. Dalet Einem Mekadosh Ela B'Layla Mamish. You can't make Kiddush only at night. Labor taste is Yontif. Even though every Yontif you can make Kiddush in Shabbat, you can make Kiddush taste is Yontif, but Leil Pesach you cannot. Ki tikna chachamim dal case with man eroy lachilas matzah. It's saying so. Labor taste Yontif too much addition sim kuf lamet zayin, because the chacham were mesaken dal cases in the time that's fit to eat matzah. You can't eat the matzah until nighttime. Shulchan Aruch Rabbeinu Sham Siv Beis. Hey, Yeshloch is the day das Elu. You have to be choishish to the opinions. Ha'ayim shemitzvah lishtes kol ha'kois. It's a mitzvah to drink the entire kois. For Kiddush a whole year, it's enough to drink moli lugmov. But the night of Pesach, you have to drink. There's days you have to drink the entire kois. Val koponim, and at least rubai the majority of the kois. Sham sifyu tes and al terev shulchan aruch sifyu tes. So the Churi writes over here 5 nafkaminas by the fact that it's one of the adult cases. So now this whole keta is not understood. First of all, the Churi, he could say another 3 nafkaminas. The Churi has 3 more nafkaminas that he could say. And Tov Ayin Beis, Sif Tetzvov. It says because there's a din of a seva tonight, if you drank the kois below a seva, so you have to drink it over again. And even though the din is right in Sif Tetzvov, the Alter Rebbe, Tov Ayin Beis Sif Tetzvov, even though the din is that nowadays that it's the day of the Rabbi, that you don't have to be maces nowadays. So with the Eved, if you drank B'li Seva, so with the Eved you Yaitze. But still, he writes, you have to should eat it over again. And also the second kois you should drink over again. But the first and the third and the fourth kois you shouldn't drink over again, because since we don't drink between the first and the second kois, and between the third and the fourth, and after the fourth, So therefore, you would have to make Beir Piagofen again, and then it'll look like your Moitz Valakaisis. However, he says, okay, so it'll look like your Moitz Valakaisis, which also Beir says, Beir Valakaisis has a Nimrach, which says, Lachzer the Borch. And you're Moitz Valminian Akaisis. So therefore, it's better after the first kais not to be saying. But he says, L'chatchila, that before you drink the first kais, you should have in your mind that you're going to drink again between the first and the second kais. Al smach bracha zu on the bracha that you made in the first kais. Then if you drank the first kais without a seva, so you can drink over again without another bracha, and you won't be near a kamoitz valakaisis. So he says that the chatchila by the koishel kiddush, when you make the beir piagofen, you should have in mind that you will drink. So then, if you made a mistake and you drank b'liya seva, you'll be able to drink the kois over again by a seva. And it won't look like Moitz Valakaisis, it'll look like a Shtia Achas, like one Shtia, Mesekas L'Shtayim, because you're not making a broch. So Kaponet said, Alter Rebbe writes clearly over here that the Gabi, the first kois, the Chatchila, you should have in mind that you're going to drink after the first kois. So that in case you drank the kois of Kiddush without a seva, you'll be able to drink over again with a seva. So that's another nafkamina that we have. Leil Pesach, that if you drank without a seva. Why doesn't he mention this nafkamina? Another nafkamina is that Alter Rebbe writes, by Kiddush a whole year, you don't have to moizik des hakois. You can drink wine which is very strong. That's in Sif. Yud Zayin. Kol echad medal kois salol tzarich shiyeh boy leipochas mervias yain le'achar shiyivs again after you mixed it with water. Imu yain chazak shetzarich mesiga. B'shem mezuga lefi das ha'sheisa kadei shetiya shtiya reva. So there should be a shtiya reva, and that's dafka b'leil Pesach that you have to dafka be moizik the kois. So what the wine that you drink should be sweet to you, should be pleasant for you. But the avid, you get, even if you weren't moizik, but you're not getting yedei chayros. In other words, you weren't mekayim a mitzvah min a mufcha. So the mash'enke by kiddush a whole year, clear halacha and siman reish ayin beis, that you don't have to be moizik. Yain chai afilu chazak kol kach and siman reish ayin beis, sif vov. Shroy the Muslim Shroy Shachlokim Chayagachat Mekachin Olav Afilu B'lei Mezika Klal. You can make Kiddush even without Mezika. Mashenkin Lil Pesach, when it's Yain Chazak, you have to be Moizik. So you have another nafkamina. Then there's a third nafkamina. That in Sif Chof Vov, the Alter Rebbe writes, Mitzvah Lachza Acha Yain Oden, Im Ein Alavim Meshubach Menu. That's a mitzvah to look for red wine if the white wine is not better. The chshivus of wine is when it's red. And even though the Kiddush of all the other Yom Tovim and Shabbos, the minhag is that we don't look for red wine if it's not better than the white wine, unless it's better than the white wine. But if it's equal, the kol v'okem b'dalet koises leishlinik ka'omer shetzerich lachzer achov sheyesh b'zecher ledam. But the Leil Pesach, it's worthwhile to be choizer achayayin odem because of zecher ledam sheyapari sheichet et bnei Yisrael. So maybe this third nafkamina maybe he can answer because he finishes off nowadays because there was a lilas dam on Yidden, so therefore they held themselves back from taking red wine. But as far as the Ikar Adin is concerned, the Alter Rebbe says that they'll pay Pesach because of Zeichel Adam. We should be Chayzer Achayayin Odin. So you have three nafkaminas that the Rebbe doesn't write over here. One, that the Kodesh Kiddush, the Chatchila, you have to make sure that you drink a bit of seva. Two, that the Kodesh Kiddush needs, because one of the Al-Kodesh needs Mezika. Third, that you have to be Chayzer Achayayin Odin. So why doesn't the Rebbe write these three nafkaminas? That's the first order. Second order. In the third chilik, the third edition, the nafkamina that the Rebbe writes, Deichik atzme lishte is dal cases, av shemazikoi, eshetzech nimkar ksusei. That you push yourself to drink the dal cases, even though it's mazik, or you have to sell your clothing. If you take a look in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, the first part of that, that you have to drink even if it's mazikoi, that's halacha chof aleph. That if somebody doesn't drink wine a whole year because he hates it or it's mazik him, still they'll Pesach, you have to push yourself to drink dal kaises. That's the Gemara in the Dorim. You have to push yourself, like Rabbi Yehuda ben Eloi pushed himself to drink dal kaises, and even though it harmed him, he had to tie his sides until it says because he had pains in his stomach from the wine that he drank. So from there is a right that you have to drink. So that's halacha chof aleph. In halacha lamet, many halachas later, after oni apparently from the tzedakah ve'en amoyis nikras yain arba kaises shleinosnu gabi tzedakah. Even a poor person that lives off of tzedakah and he doesn't have money to buy arba kaises, chayv lilvos, he has to borrow money or limker ksusa to sell his clothing, or the haskas asmoy to rent out himself b'shil yain adal kaises for wine of dal kaises. Or shah mashkin mokum shem chumar medina. Okay, so it's two separate halachas, and the chur the teichen advar is taka two separate dinim. The din of that you have to be self to drink wine by dal is a mitzvah of shtiyas yayin, that you have to drink wine, so, and this doesn't have any limitation. That's a chiyuv mitzad gavre, that this mitzvah, even though it's going to be mazik you or you hate it, you have to be derech. That's the halacha chof aleph. Halacha laman is a different. By other mitzvahs, there's halacha ayavazve is often yesim and chaymish. The person doesn't have to spend more than chaymish. If he doesn't have money, so he's a potter, he's an onus, he doesn't have to do the mitzvah. Mashenkin over here by dal kaitzes, which is for pesuma nisa. So Chazal say that you have to borrow money, sell your clothing, rent yourself out to make money. You should be able to have dal kaitzes. So, in other words, that's the goydel chiyuv of the mitzvah. That this mitzvah doesn't have a patur of ayuvaz v'sheisim achaymish. This mitzvah, you have to make sure that you have the dollar kaises. You have to spend your last pennies or borrow money to or sell your clothing, so you should be able to have dollar kaises. So the first halacha is halacha that you have to drink no matter what. The second halacha is how far the chiyuv of the mitzvah goes. It's two separate mitzvahs, two separate inyanim. And in the Shulchan Aruch of the Alter Rebbe, it's two separate halachas. After the Rebbe puts it into one nafkamina. It's two Gemaras. The makor of the first part is the Gemara in the Dorim. The makor of the second part is the Sugim Psachon Tzadik Testament Beis in the Rishonim over there. So why does he put it into one nafkamina? The question becomes bigger. What's the first nafkamina? Ein mekadosh ala pas. What's the makor that ein mekadosh ala pas? That you can't make kiddush on pas. That's halacha chof ches in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. It's of Tov Ayin Beis halacha chof ches. Chem mekayim she'ein yain motzui, in places where there's no wine found. Mitzvah amufcha likach meit smukim. So it's a mitzvah in a mufcher to take raisin water in which raisins were soaked for a long time until it became strong. A place where wine is not found, that a mahalach of one day around the city there is no wine. Elam atma is there. So you can take for dal cases chamar medina. We made drash from kavish regil in the states of the Pesach. Valdershi is very similar samach zayin. So now the Alter Rebbe goes on. Av apisha bekiddush shar yom teim shabbos deisa tev the kaddish ala pasim the kaddish shar mashkin. Even though they're by kiddush of every other yom tev and Shabbos, it's better to make kiddush on pas, which is something that he passes also in Hilchos Shabbos. It's better to make kiddush ala pas than to make kiddush on chamar medina. Commotion is very similar. Ein Reish Beit. We call Makam Belel Pesach on the night of Pesach. Ef Shalak Kaddish Alei Pas. You can't make kiddush on pas. Shai Chayiv Ba'arba Koises. V'Arishnu Koishel Kiddush. And the first one is the Koishel Kiddush. So it comes out. What's the reason that Edom Kaddish Alei Pas? Because you have a chiv of drinking dal koises. That's the first nafkamina. The second maskamina. Et Acha Moitzi Dei Chivosei. Somebody else can't be moitzi him his chiv. Zeichen zu dem Makor, the Alter Rebbe, Siman Tov Ein Bey, Sif Chov Bey.
Why is there don't bring up, doesn't bring up Makar for the first time?
We'll speak about that also. In Sif Chov Bey, the Alter Rebbe writes, Kiddush Shayim Tev Shabbos Ein Tzorech Litchik Esatzim Lishtis by kiddush of all the other Shabbosim Yom Tovim. You don't have to push yourself to drink the cups. Yachal Lishma Kiddush Ma'acha. You can hear the kiddush from somebody else. Commission is by with Simon Ein Reish Beis. Mash'eikim ba'arba koises shel Pesach. Avnei Abai Shem Shem Ma'kiddush V'Agodim Ma'Bal Habayit. Avkei Chayiv Kol Echad V'Echad Lishlis Dal Koises Derech. Everybody has to drink himself. So it comes out the reason why somebody can't be moitzi is because everybody has a chiyuv to drink himself. The reason why I can't make kiddush on pas is because I have to drink dal koises. The reason why somebody else can't be moitzi is because I have to drink myself. The first part of the nafkamina gimel, deichik atzma lishlis dal koises afshem hazikoi. You have to push yourself to drink the dal koises even though it harms you. What's the reason for that? Because you have to drink. That's the chiyuv of dal koises, to drink dal koises. So it comes out nafkamina aleph beis gimel. The first part of gimel is all the same thing, all the same teichen. I have a chiyuv to drink dal koises, and that's why I have to do it. So this, because since it deals with different details, so the Rebbe makes it into three nafkaminas. Over here, where in Gimel, Deichek Atzma Lishtis Dal Koises Avshem Azika Eshet Seich Lim Kaksisa, the Rebbe makes it one nafkamina.
Why can't we say that Gimel is strong and so on?
What?
Why can't we say that the third nafkamina is strong and so on?
What's it?
Show the chumah of the concept.
Okay, but in the chum of the concept, it's two separate protim. One is that over here there's no. Again, it's an.
I'm not coming to say why there's two details in one.
That's a nachama. So.
Why can't we say that Gimel is separate from
Nachama, just listen for a second. In Gimel, because there is a common denominator to tell you that this has how far the chiv shtia goes, so the Rebbe puts it into one nafkamina. Even though that be'etzim it's two separate dinim. Aleph, Beis, Gimel, the first part of Gimel, it has even a bigger common denominator. There's a chiyuv lishtais, and he makes it into three separate nafkaminas. The Aleph, Beis, and the first part of Gimel is there's a chiyuv of shtia of dal koises. But since it's dealing with different details, it makes it into three nafkaminas. And in Gimel, where although there's a common denominator, but l'chura it's two separate dinim. And like you see, Takin Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. Then the Mekayos. For Aleph, he doesn't bring any mocha. Although it's Mefurish in the Shulchan Aruch. He just writes, any Mekadosh al Pas. So why doesn't he bring a marker for it? Then, in the fourth nafkamina, Eina Mekadosh Ela B'Layla Mamash Rei B'Tesis Yomtiv, Gektikna Chacham in Dal Kais Tumas Hadesh and Simen Kuf Lamed Zay. Let me read you the Tumas Hadesh because it's very important. The short Tumas Hadesh. Somebody asked the question, can I make Kiddush M'Boy Gay? I'm coming, they used to daven Ma'ariv early. I die in Gemu. She asked, can I start the Seder? When it comes to eating matzah, I'll eat it at night. But let me start the Seder. That was the question. Tshuva. You're not allowed to do it. Why? Because the Rishonim in the beginning of our Psachim, because of the Shem Arida Linish, the mitzvah of matzah more belayla mamish. The mitzvah of matzah more is only mamish at night, and you can't be mekayim in places young. And kain avagav the kain sheyasai mari yagir lechol matzah more. Even though before you finish saying the Haggadah and you come to eat matzah more, it will already be night. The kais of kiddush is one of the four kaises. And also the shinui that you make, the yerokes that we eat in the beginning of the Haggadah, karpas, that we eat in the beginning of the Haggadah. We make this shinui so the children should ask, which is part of the mitzvah of Haggadah, that the mitzvah of Haggadah is b'derech shaylo tshuva, according to a lot of days. So the question that we want to be more the children to be asked, the koshkin Haggadah asking for sure the Haggadah itself. Anything that's connected with that, the shiloh of the children, and the kiddush, which is part of the crisis, they all have to be in the time when it's fit to eat matzah more. The whole hani mitzvahs matzah more is shaycha because they're all connected with matzah more. The gaminon with the shinim, we got to the bincha bavur zele matzah b'shosh eish matzah more. We were achon f'necha. That's right. B'shosh yirocha. That the whole mitzvah of God is in only the time when it's fit to eat matzah more. It doesn't mean just that the physical matzah is in front of you. It means that you have the mitzvah of matzah. Because even before Leil Pesach, I can put matzah on the table. But so it means when I have the chiyuv of matzah more. So the same thing with the Haggadah is everything else. When Kain ein leimer Haggadah kain malayla mamish, Ashina nami ein kan derech kadesh ishla ben v'yagid lo ya'av. The same thing with the shinui, since that's the shilas, so the father should answer him, which is part of the mitzvah of Haggadah. The kiddush nami, and kiddush also. Hoyev the kaisa b'chlal dal kaisis, and the muzim b'loshen geula b'matzah shemezech l'seiches kulat sichu shev ma'adim mamish. Therefore, they all have to be at night. That's what the Tumas Hadesh is. Okay. So the Rebbe over here quotes: "Ein mekadosh el b'layla mamish rei b'teitzis yom Tumas Hadesh. Getiknu chachamim dal kaisis b'zman haroi l'achilas matzah." Because the Chacham were Misak in Dal cases in the time which is Roy Lachilus Matzah. Sechem Sud Al Terev. Why does he split it? The Tumas Hadesh already writes this. The Tumas Hadesh says that Kiddush is one of the Dal cases, and the Dal cases, the Haggadah, have to be in the time. And Kiddush Nami, no, and the Kiddush Nami she echad medalat cases. Kiddush also, which is one of the Dal cases, has to be in his man of Roilach Matzah. So why is he taking to the Alter Rebbe over here? You have it in the Tumas Hadesh. The only thing, look in the Lashon of the Alter Rebbe.
That's why it's Machalik or is it covering it?
Why is it Bichlal bringing it? It makes it like two separate things. As if the Tumas Hadesh just says, as if the Tumas Hadesh, if you learn just the Haggadah, so you get the impression that the Tumas Hadesh just says you can't do it at night. You can't do it in places young. And the reason, that's the Alter Rebbe explaining. The Tumas Hadesh says that. Tumas Hadesh says it already. The only lotion that I found in the Alter Rebbe that L'churi is Meitzah on the Tumas Hadesh is that he says, why Taked Dalar Koi says, Tikne Chacham Enel Belay Bezman Aroi Lechol Achilus Matzah, Shekol Mash Tikne Chacham, Tikne Kein Shel Teira. Ke'en shel Torah. Kol ma shetiknu chachamim, tiknu ke'en shel Torah. Whatever the chachamim are masakin similar to the din Torah. So that's why the dal kaisis also has to be like the mitzvahs of the Torah. They're just like the mitzvahs of the Torah have to be at night. When it's roy lechol matzah, so also the mitzvahs of chachamim have to be at night. Kol ma shetiknu chachamim, tiknu ke'en shel Torah. That's the only thing that you don't have that lashon in the Tumas Hadesh. But that the Rebbe doesn't quote. All the Rebbe is quoting over here is Ketika Chachamim Dal Kaisis with Man Roy Lachilas Matzah. That you have in the Tumas Hadesh.
The Tumas Hadesh doesn't say.
He does say it.
No, he says it about everything else.
No, will you listen again? No.
We could make this differentiation. Why not? Tumas Hadesh is two things.
No, sir.
He talks about the Karpas. He talks about the Chiyu of Agada, which is based on Mishnah, is part of it.
The Kiddush Nami.
The Kiddush Nami, and then how he concludes about Kiddush. The last few words about Kiddush.
The Kiddush Nami, however, Kaisis B'chlal Dal Kaisis, the Kaisis of Kiddush B'chlal Dal Kaisis, Min Haramuzim B'Loshen Gula, the Kamatzah, she's Echel Echelu. V'im Kei, Kula Tzichin Shehei Laila Mamish. That's the truth of this. That just like matzah has to be at night, also Dal Kaisis has to be at night.
Why the Tumas Hadesh himself is mechalik between everything and
it's not mechalik. He goes through all the details. It doesn't put it into it's two different. What?
Why isn't the Kiddush part of that?
Because Kiddush is a chiyuv for itself also. It's a young. So he said, but since Kiddush is one of the dal cases, so therefore it has to be just like the Haggadah. It has to be just like everything else. Just like the matzah.
If the Rebbe didn't bring the Shulchan Aruch, wasn't time to that. Your question would be why he's bringing it, or why he's doing machalik with the Marmok in the middle?
What?
If the Rebbe didn't bring the Shulchan Aruch,
when I read the Haggadah, I get the impression that Trumas Hadesh just tells me a dry din, and the Alter Rebbe is masber the din. That's the impression that I get from the Haggadah. But if you look at the Trumas Hadesh, he explains it also. He explains exactly this reason. The only thing that the Alter Rebbe is meisiv is why Takadal Kais has to be just like matzah. It could call Mashi Tikna Chacham and Tikna Kein Shel Torah.
if the Rebbe brought Tikna before he was time to the Tumas Hadesh, would you still have a question?
What? No, you don't need the Alter Rebbe over here.
I understand.
Yes.
I understand. The fact that the Chalal Rebbe is bringing that quoting.
What?
The fact that the Rebbe is even bringing that quote Tikna.
That's the Trumas Hadesh. That's fine.
Why do you need Alter Rebbe? Trumas Hadesh is independent without Alter Rebbe.
Of course. Okay, he's the Rishon. He's the Makor for the whole halacha.
Yeah, but I'm saying the fact that Kiddush is only down to matzah when matzah is menucha. When the chiv is only chal matzah and mar, then you can say the chiv. Then you can say Kiddush. That's the Trumas Hadesh on what I say.
Right.
There's nothing to do with getting the rest of it.
It does have to do.
What does that do with that? It's not a good point on that.
It is good point that all the mitzvahs of Leil Pesach have to be at the same time as matzah.
No, Kiddush has to be at the time of the chiv of matzah.
Why? Why can't Kiddush be an independent?
If
it wouldn't be one of the dal cases, it wouldn't have to be. It could be in Pesach Yom. The only reason why it has to be at night is because it's one of the dal cases. Right, and the Rebbe doesn't mention he doesn't mention that. He just says it has to be in the time of matzah. So what did the Rebbe see over here in Shulchan Aruch Rabbeinu Sham? Then there's a general question over here. The whole order of these nafkaminas is mamish the opposite of the Shulchan Aruch. If we take a look at Seder in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch and Simon Tov Ayin Beis, right? So the fourth nafkamina that the Rebbe says, the fourth nafkamina, that is what's mentioned in Tov Ayin Beis, Sif Beis. That's the first halacha that's mentioned in Shulchan Aruch. That you shouldn't make Kiddush before night. The next thing is that Deichik Atzmai, the halacha in the first part of Siv Gimel, Deichik Atzmai Lisha is Dal Kaises, Avshem Azikoi, that's Siv Chof Aleph in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. The first part of Nafkamina Gimel.
Before that, you said, hey, is your test.
What?
Before that.
I'm sorry. Hey is your test, right? Hey is your test. That's halacha your test in the Shulchan. The first part of Sif Gimel is Sif Chof Aleph. The second nafkamina is Sif Chof Beis. The first nafkamina Ena Mekadosh Ala Pas is Sif Chof Ches. The second half of nafkamina Gimel is Sif Lamed. Why doesn't he go into the order of the Shulchan Aruch? Huh? What? The Gemara. Okay, that I can't ask such a question. If I can explain it, but I can't ask such a question. Why he brings the Gemara? Because in the whole Agada, the Rebbe will always take us to the first Makar. What? Which Gemara? Which Gemara? What? That I have a chiv of drinking dal cases. First of all, that's not so poshut. Hello, this is not so poshut. Taisus in the beginning of Arab Psachim has a suffix whether dal cases just like kiddush. They're just like by kiddush somebody can be moitzi him. So also by dal cases somebody can moitzi him. What? The Rosh also has the same suffix. The cases and the Rosh in the beginning of Arab Psachim have a suffix. It could be dal cases, somebody else could be moitzi. What? Yeah, okay, so but over here, you're right. Later we'll see, according to the way we're going to be mad with this whole keta, will be understood why over here it's so dafke the Gemaras. What he says to Psachim Tzadik Tes on the base, there's no Gemara over there. It's just a Rishonim Tzadik Tes on the base. It's this sugi of Rashbam, Rashi, but it's the sugi of Psachim Tzadik Tes on the base. It's not the Gemara itself. It's just mavur from the din that since we give from Stokke for dal cases, from there we build this halacha. So it's so that the yesod is from the Tzadik Tes on the base. Okay, but we'll still speak about it. These are the diukim over here that this whole ket over here is ton hasbara. Side the order of the nafkaminas, side the way he sets up the nafkaminas. Gimel is like two parts, two separate halachas, etc. All the diukim that we make. So in order to understand that, we have to magdim two agdamas. It's going to the sugi of dal cases a little bit. What's the problem? What is the problem?
No problem.
Okay, the Gemara of Kuf Ches Amud Beis. I'm sorry. It says, Shosen Chai Yotza, if you drink the wine raw, strong wine raw, without mezigah, so yoytz. Shosen Vasachas Yotza. If you drink the dal cases together, you yoytz. Okay, so Amar Rava, Shosen Chai Yotza. So the Gemara goes on to explain that if it says when you drink the wine raw, even though it's strong wine, you yoytz. So it says, what's pshat yoytz? You de yayin yotza, you de cheres la yotza. Right? So Rashi says, the Rashbam says, you have to drink 4 cases of wine. So you So Rashbam learns what pshat you drank the wine strong without mezika, that wasn't pleasant to drink, very strong wine. So You don't have a mitzvah shlema. You don't have a complete mitzvah. The Ran says it's not a mitzvah in a mufcha. The Lashon of the Ran, it's not a mitzvah in a mufcha. Because you didn't have, because the Rabbi uses the Lashon Shein Chshivas Ela B'Yayin Mozuk, or because it's not Oriv, it's not Geshmak, like the Lashon in the Alter Rebbe. That's the first part. Then when it says Shasam B'Vas Achas, Shasam B'Vas Achas Yotza, so Rav Omar Yedei Yayin Yotza. Yedei Yayin Yotza. So Rashi learns Mishum Simchas Yontif. The Rashbam says Mishum Simchas Yontif. And that's the way Tosis learns. So Pirish. So if I care, Tosis says a different Pirish. Yedei Yain Yotzo, Pirish Yedei Simchas Yontif. The Sakadai to Chayev Tikni Dal Kreises like Nofet Midei Simchas Yontif Ella Imkein Yotzo Yedei Dal Kreises. Because I might think you're not Yotze Simchas Yontif unless you drink the Dal Kreises. You actually Yotze the Chiv Dal Kreises. Kamashma that he Yotze the din of Simchas Yontif even without being Yotze the Chiv of Dal Kreises. That's how the Rashbam and Tosis seem to learn. Other Rishonim learn Yedei Yain Yotzo, that the Yotze the din of Shtiyas Dal Kreises. That's Yedei Yain Yotzo. And Tosis also is an Arif over here, the Shtiyas Yain of Dal Kreises. Shosam Vasachas, Yedei Yain Yotzo Simchas Yontif, Rashbam and Tosis says, Yedei Dalit, Yedei Cherus, Shosam Vasachas, Rabbi Yedei Yain Yotzo, Arba Kreises Lo Yotzo. They Arba Kreises Lo Yotzo, Kul Chshin Kreis Rishon Lo Yosef. So if the Hevi, Oid Sholosh Kreis Salasei. That you Yotze just Yain, Simchas Yontif, way the Rashbam learns, but you're not Yotze Dal Kreises. Because it's drank them together, so they're all considered only like one kreis. That's the way the Rishonim over here learn. We take a look in the Rambam. Halacha test. These four places you have to be moizik them. So it should be a pleasant drink. How much you have to be moizik them is according to the strength of the wine, according to the taste of the drinker. But in each one cup, there has to be at least, in all the four cups, there has to be at least a revius of yain chai. In other words, a quarter of a revius, because the strong wine used to mix 1 in 4. In other words, you used to make 4 times as much. That's how strong the wine was. So there has to be at least a revius yain in all the 4 cases. Yain chai, of raw wine. If you drank the 4 cases from wine which was not mixed with water, Yotzi de Abba cases, Yetzi de Abba cases, or Yotzi de Chez. Shasa Abba cases mezugim bevas achas. If you had 4 cases which were mozuk at one time, Yotzi de Chez, so Yetzi de Chez, or Yotzi de Abba cases, but you're not Yetzi Abba cases. So the Rambam changes over here. But Shasa bevas achas, he doesn't say Yedei Yain Yotzi Yedei Abba cases lo Yotzi. He doesn't say that. He changes the Lashon. That's the gears also of the Rif. That Yedei Cherus, Yotze Yedei Cherus, or Yotze Yedei Arba. So the Biskarov makes a gewaltige deal. If I learned the Pshat, Yedei Cherus lo Yotze, that means a mitzvah in a mufcher. That's the Pshat of Yedei Cherus, mitzvah in a mufcher. So how is it possible to say Yedei Cherus Yotze, Yedei Arba lo Yotze? you can't be Yetzer Mitzvah and a Mufra if you don't have the Iker Mitzvah. That's it. And since the gears of the Rif and the Rambam is Yidei Cherus Yotza, Yidei Abba Kaisis Lo Yotza. So he says, so you must say in the Rambam a different pshat from Yidei Cherus. So he wants to explain, based on what the Rambam said before, in Halacha Vav B'chol Der V'der Chayev Odom L'Harizis Atum Kidu Hu B'Atum Yotza Atum Meshib Mitzrayim. Every single generation has Yotza. You know, there has to be a Derech Cherus, Bil Pesach. And how do I show this Derech Cherus? The Fiach, the Rambam says in Halacha Zayin, the Fiach K'sheseit Odom B'Layla Zeh Tzorich Lechav Lishas V'Meisav Derech Cherus. Because there has to be, everything has to be, before there has to be a Derech Cherus, Bil Pesach. So therefore there's a Chiv HaSeva. One halacha. And the Rambam adds another halacha. Chol echad ve'echad bein hanoshin ve'noshin chayiv la'asim b'layla lishtes b'layla hazeh arba kodesh v'yayin. So the Rambam says, mitzad derech cherus, I have to drink 4 cups of wine. So there's a chiyuv of shtiyas dal cases for cherus. And then of shtiyas of dal cases. That's one halacha. Then he says, there's a chiyuv of dal kaishel bracha. The Gemara and the basis for the chiyuv of dal kaishel bracha is the Gemara later. That the Mishnah says, that you have to make the 3rd kais of Birchas Hamazon. The Gemara says, so from here we want to bring a raya that Birchas Hamazon needs a kais. That for each one of the kaises, that the Gemara in Kufiyat Zayin over base, each one of the kaises we should do a mitzvah and make a bracha. So there's the makor that besides the din of shtiyah, the now with the chacham and misaken shtiyah dal kaises, and then the chacham and misaken that on each one of these dal kaises you should make a bracha. The first kais kiddush, the second kais bracha asher golanu, the 3rd kais Birchas Hamazon, the 4th kais the bracha of the shtabach of them. Right? So therefore he says there's 2 dinim in dal cases. One is the din shtiyas cases, and the Rambam learns yedei cherus, like the Rambam said before, that because of cherus I have to do dal cases. Yedei cherus means the din of shtiyas dal cases. Why not for dal cases? And then there's a separate halacha of dal cases shel bracha, that I have to have dal cases shel bracha. That's the second halacha. That's a Brisker Rov's Macharish, and he writes a whole arichas over there. So the yesod of the Brisker Rov, that is there is these 2 dinim. The Brisker Rov himself brings a shayas at Shuvas Harosh, and we look in the Pirush of Rabbeinu David and Psochim, so you see that's taka how we learn Pshat and Yedei Cherus. That means shtiyas dal cases. Besides the shtiyas dal cases, but to say that the Rambam Laniyas Daiti is impossible. In other words, it has the yesod, the spiritual has the yesod. To explain the Yecherus that way. In the Alter Rebbe also it's muchach that Yecherus is the pshat shtiyas dal cases. But in the Rambam, the Chur to explain the Rambam that way is impossible. Why? Because, like you mentioned before, in Halacha Zayin, the Rambam says, the Masakin shtiyas dal cases because of Cherus. That's Halacha Zayin. Halacha Ches, the Rambam goes into Din HaSeva. Halacha Tes, the Rambam says, Arba cases eilu tzorech nimzeh gaisam k'reshiyah shtiyah reiva. That's, it goes. Vayivches ba'arbosim ereviyas yain chai. Shos Arba cases eilu yain she'enu mozet. So Yotzi de Arba cases, or Yotzi de Cherus. Yoed gates of Cherus. Shas Arba cases mezukim bevas achas, Yotzi de Cherus or Yotzi de Arba cases. So according to the Biskarov, is pshat. What's pshat Arba cases? Arba cases means Arba cases shel bracha. Cherus means the drinking of the 4 cases, right? The Rambam did not mention anywhere till here that there's halacha of dal kais bracha. He doesn't mention the word. In halacha yud, which is later, the Rambam says, "Kol kais v'kais ma'arba kaises elu mevorechel of bracha b'fnei atzma." Each one of these 4 kaises, you have to make a separate bracha. Kais vishna imelav kiddush hayin, kais sheni kayolav. Over here, he quotes the Gemara from Kuf Yud Zad. The kais rishon, you have to make kiddush. The second kais, you have to make the agada. Agada, kais shlishi mevorechel of brichas hamazon, kais v'yeh gaim elav zahal mevorechel of brichas hashim. So that he mentioned only halacha yud later. The Rambam can't say halacha they arba kaises lo yotzav, and I still don't know a halacha of dal kais bracha. The Rambam only says that later. So Lani is daiti the pshat in the Rambam they dal kais. It's not the din of dal kais bracha. The Rambam is telling us a different halacha over here. The shosen bevas achas they dal kais yotzav. That the din of shtias dal kaises has to be shtias dalit kaises nifrodes. It can't be like one kais. It has to be separate kaises. You have to separate between the kaises. And the din of yidei dal kaises or yotza is because in the shtia there's a halacha. You have to drink wine, and I have to drink wine from 4 kaises. And these 4 kaises have to be separate kaises. What? Cheirus is shtias yayin, but then there's a halacha that this shtias yayin has to be from 4 separate kaises. A clear raya to this.
So you understand that the day Shlomo Bas Achas, he understands that Rashi.
What?
He understands that Shlomo Bas Achas, he understands that Rashi.
That
everything was in 1 cup.
No, it doesn't have to be 1 cup. I drank the 4 cups one after the other. It has to. It doesn't have to be like Rashi. That everything has to be in 1. Rashi learns everything was in 1 cup. But it's also Rashi goes because since it was 4 cups, it's already separate. The other Rishonim say 4 cups alone is not enough. I need mamish a separation between the cups. Let's take a look the way the Kreiskim write. In Tov Ein Beis Sif Ches, Tzrich Lishtes Aber Kaises Ala Seder. Nifshasen Zech Hazeh Shleike Seder Lo Yotze. That's what the way it's written in the Shulchan Aruch. Sokte Taz Ala Seder Pirush K'fi Shesidu Chachamim Al Nifshasen Zech Hazeh Beloi HaSeder Shebein Tayim Beloi HaSeder Shebein Tayim. The Taz doesn't say Bli Loime Brocha Aleim. He says Beloi HaSeder Shebein Tayim. The same thing you have in the Magen Avraham. Sheyeme Hagode Ben Tayim. It doesn't say Sheyeme Hagode Aleim. It doesn't say Ben Tayim, in between. That's the Lashon of the Taz in the Magen Avraham. In the Alter Rebbe, it's even more mefurish. Mamish mefurish. In the Alter Rebbe in Tov Ayin Beis, Halacha Tezai. Tzerich Lishtes Hadal Kais Ala Seder She is Bayer. You have to drink Dal Kais in the order that will be explained. Behind you, listen to the Lashon. Shebein Kais Rishon L'Sheni, Ubein Shlishi L'Revi, Yafsik B'Amiris HaGodah V'Hala. That between the first Kais and the second Kais, you have to be Mafsik with Amiris HaGodah, and between the third and the fourth Kais, you have to be Mafsik, Halach of Hefsek, with Hala. Ubein Shein, now it's over here even more mefurish. Like this, I'm only being medayik words. It's saying Bein Tayim, Beinayim, B'chuli, it doesn't say Aleim, so it's only a few good word. But over here, it's mamish now mefurish. Ubein Shein L'Shlishi, between the second and third kois, Yafsik V'Achilas Matzah U'Birchas HaMazeh. It mentions Achilas Matzah also. It doesn't only say Birchas HaMazeh. Achilas Matzah has nothing to do with Kosher Bracha. So it's clear over here that Chazal were Masakin Dalit Kaises that have to be Dalit Kaises Nifradi. And the reason is because there's Dalit L'Shenish, and in Svar it makes a lot of sense. The Dalit L'Shenish of Gula, each thing is a thing for itself. So each kais has to be a kais for itself. Each one has to be in its own stand, in its own thing. That's one Hagdom. So, and the Rambam L'chura is muchach like that also. I'll tell you another word. I'll tell you another thing. If this word of the Briskov doesn't make sense when Mechilim equate to Rosa. He says, what's the Shashas Lavas Achas? Yidei Chelus Yotza. I was Yotze drinking of the wine, but Yidei Dal Kais is like Yotza. I wasn't Yotze Dal Kais Shul Broch. Will it make sense to say, I didn't sit in the sukkah, so I'm not Yotze the mitzvah of sukkah? I didn't shake the lulav, so I'm not Yotze the mitzvah of lulav. Shasim Avas Achas, I didn't say brocha, so I'm not Yotze Yidei Dal Kais Shul Broch. It doesn't make sense to say such a thing. I have to say such a thing. I have to say such a halacha. This is mamish the biggest pell on the Briskov. I partially don't understand how the Briskov. I didn't do it. I didn't say any bracha. I drank one after the other. So Yidei Dal Kais bracha, I wasn't gated. If the whole word of Yidei Dal Kais is only Dal Kais bracha, and it's not halacha, it's at the shtir. If there's halacha of shtir, it's a kais. So this halacha is telling me that each kais has to be a kais for itself. And it has to be different for itself. There has to be a hefsek between the kaises. So it should be nicker that there's dal l'sheni shabulah, dal l'bulas that we're mitzrayim, and each kais is a kais for itself. But to tell me shas mavas achas yidei dal kais shel bracha lo yosa, I didn't sit in the sukkahs. I'm not yotze the mitzvah of sukkah. I didn't shake the lulav. I'm not yotze the mitzvah of lulav. I didn't eat matzah. I'm not yotze matzah. What's her better? So the way it's in the Taz and the Magen Avraham and the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, what's the pshat the dal kais yotza? Because in the etzem shtiyas hakais, in the shtiyas hakais, there's two separate dinim. One of the drinking the wine, and secondly, there has to be dal kaises. There has to be 4 separate kaises. That's the second din. So even though the etzem word of the 2 dinim in dal kaises, I agree with it. But that's the next halacha in the Rambam. Over here, the Rabbi is telling me another halacha, a different halacha, that in the shtiyas hakais itself has to be dal kaises, dal separate kaises. That's one hagdom. Now there's another hagdom. One of the simonim in Hilchos Pesach is mamish a Lubavitcher simon. Chabad simon. Mamish. I don't see how the world understands it. That's a halacha of mifsaim. The people that don't know how to run a seder, you have to go there to run a seder for them. And there's a whole simon in Shulchan Aruch dedicated how you're going to run the seder for other people that don't know how to do it themselves. For the Amaratzim, or the Purim, or the Fryer, you don't know how to do it themselves. You have to go. Somebody wants to go 2-3 houses to make the seder for them. How do you do it? That's the whole sin. So then what they don't even know how to make a bracha. Which brachas can you be mitzi? Which bracha can't you be mitzi? That's what the whole simon tough pay dalit in Hilchos Pesach is all about. Amina Lubavitcher simon. It's a Jewish simon, except Lubavitcher is that's the Kol Yisrael Ravens episode. That's tough pay dalit. Okay, so now there's a question. The guy bichas matzah I can be mitzi. Bichas hamor I can be mitzi because it's bichas hamitzvos. Even the bichas alechem, just like by kiddush, I can be mitzi with very priagofen. I can be mitzi with bichas alechem. What about bichas hamozon? The Rebbe writes that the people themselves have to make bichas hamozon. They themselves make bichas hamozon. The benching they have to do themselves. So the Torah says, so you fixed up those that know how to bench. Many yodim. What happens if they don't know? There's no way that you could make bichas hamozon. She'er mevorach and bichas hamozon. So they must the mishnah be based bichas hamozon. If you're going to bench for them, so then, in other words, let's say you're chayiv in birchas hamazon, but then you won't be able to drink it for yourself. How you can make the third cup of birchas hamazon? The Chaim Kosev Rav Kohen said it. Shemen yed in birchas hamazon, also the kaddish kiyum b'bayis echad. If they don't know how to bench, so you can't be mighty, and the problem. And in Kiddush b'beis batna, ha mighty shem shemayim l'tolah. Lekker de meimer af wie ze birchas hamazon euchel adai matze b'bayis acher. And we're going to Muslim, the other Inish, the boy, the Mechel, trays him, the Belay, the Matza, Ochel, the Batch, the Rice, Matza. You can't do that. Because I then you over your Rosh, I feel him any getting because a Muslim, Yesh the corner, like crazy middle of the middle, the cotton Shemakis. The Rosh, already right to the 8. Even though you can't be mighty them with because a Muslim, but you have an 8 that just like you're allowed to teach a child, Mila b'Mila, even though you might say Shem Shemaim to teach him the brachas, these people are not any worse than a child. And you can say with them, Mila b'Mila, the Birchas Hamazon. I'm going to Einem Achel, Mashu Eimer. Ein kam Moitzi Shem Shemaim lo Atol. Kein Kosev reads Geis. That's the Rosh. That you could read with them Mila b'Mila, and I would say they should say it themselves. You're not Moitzi them, you can't be Moitzi them, but you can teach them just like you can teach a child. Then the Torah comes along with the Nuchit. The Efsher, the Av Birchas Hamazon, Yochel Barakei Loitzi. So it could be that Birchas Hamazon can also be mighty. Just like it can be mighty them with the Birchas Hamatzah. So Birchas Hamazon is also just like the Birchas Hamatzah. Yeah, a whole year there's a clear halacha that can be mighty with Birchas Hamazon. Mish Ochel Hu Yavarach. Not because of the chiyuv to eat mat. Because of the koiz gimel. Because of the koiz gimel. Not because of the chiyuv to eat mat. Because of the koiz gimel. Shabbos is also chiyuv to eat. What? 1 second. So that's what the Torah writes. The Torah says that it's possible, it has a suffix, it doesn't write word, that Birchas Hamazon is just like Birchas Hamatzah. It's considered, besides the chiyuv of Birchas Hamazon, which is a din, Mish Yechel Hu Yavorech, and you can't be mighty with Birchas Hamazon. So there's a din of Birchas Hamazon that it's just like Birchas Hamatzah. That's what the Torah writes. The Beis Yosef argues. There's no chiyuv to say Birchas Hamazon or Koiz Gimel. The Torah says, I'm saying Beis Yosef. There's no question with Birchas B'Adam and the Tiburishim, whatever it is. He said, you could be mighty, just like the Shaila is also by Shai Rockets. Oh my God. Birchas Hamazon could be mighty. Aber kois efshar lekayim b'lei Birchas Hamazon. Beis Yosef writes, you could be Yaitze Arba Kois without Birchas Hamazon. Sha'af mi shekol Kois tiknu al dover miyuchot. Ve'echad Kois tiknu al Birchas Hamazon. Even though that they said that you have to make a bracha on each Kois, and one of the Koises was for Birchas Hamazon. Mikol Malkim Mishosam Shli Al Seder Shtiknu Chacham Vada Yotza. What's the pshat? Shosam Shli Al Seder Vada Yotza. It says clearly, Shosam Vasach is not good. Two asks, and the Pri Chodesh argues, Avad you have to say Birchas Hamazon in the third time. And therefore you could be mighty with Birchas Hamazon, Pri Chodesh. I'll finish just with this word. I know I'm going over time, so you have another 2 minutes. Don't get nervous. It doesn't matter. You're at home anyway. You have time. The Pri Chodesh argues with the Beis Yosef. Now, if you have a tour that says could be Birchas Hamazon, it's just like Birchas Hamatzah. You have a Beis Yosef that says no, you can be Yaitze all Kois without saying Birchas Hamazon. Shosam Shli Al Seder Yotza. In Tov Ayin Beis clearly over there it says Shosam Shli Al Seder. The Beis Yosef himself asks that Lo Yotza. Because the Shosam Shli Al Seder Lo Yotza, what the Beis according to Beis Yosef the Pshat is, I have to be massive between the Dal Kois. Kosher bracha is a separate halacha. See, if I'm mafsik, even though I didn't say bichas hamazon, so what's the pshat a bichas hamitzvah? That there's a certain mitzvah, and in order to be yetzer this mitzvah, I have to make this bracha. I have to say this bracha. So I'm making the bracha only because of the mitzvah, like achilas matzah. That's the pshat bichas hamitzvah. A bichas hamitzvah can be yetzer. So over here, the Torah wants to say because of dal kaisis, so bichas hamazon is just like bichas hamatzah, because I need the bichas hamazon for the third kais. So the Beis Yosef said, I don't need bichas hamazon for the third kais. I shasam avas achas lo yotza. I have to have a hefzer. Each shtia has to be a shtia for itself. But even if I didn't say bichas hamazon, hey, no chinami take. Lechatchila wanted you to make the bracha on each case, but you said all case without it. Lechatchila, it's for the sake of the bracha, not for the sake of the mitzvah. So that doesn't make it a bichas mitzvah. When is it a bichas mitzvah that it came in mitzvah with the bracha? That's when it's for the sake of the mitzvah. The bracha is for the sake of the mitzvah. So if I wouldn't be able to be yitzid all cases without making bichas hamazon, okay. The Pri Chodesh argues, says no. You have to make bichas hamazon in order to be yitzid all cases. How does the Alter Rebbe paskin? The Alter Rebbe paskins in Tov Ayin Hey. No, not the Tov Ayin Zay. No, Tov Ayin Tes. Sorry. Tov Ayin Tes. Achilas af the Kaimen, Sif Aleph. Tzech Nim says Kai Shlishi, the Verchel of Bichas Hamazon. You have to raise it Kai Shlishi to make on the Bichas Hamazon. But after Amish Bichas Hamazon, ain't a tuna Kais. Even according to the opinions that Bichas Hamazon, that's like one Kuf Yitzai, ain't a tuna Kais. Mekov of Mahai, but Tikna Chacham, Nish Nital Kais, but like Zay, Yesh Lasis, Mitzvah, Chol Echad, Echad, but Ashlishi, Yevarecham Mitzvah. And by the third Kais, you have to say Bichas Hamazon. V'im loy also kei, loy yotzo yidei choy v'osei k'moish nizdar v'sim Tov Ayin. And if you don't do that, see, and seches to the Pri Chodesh comes out over here according to the Tur Pri Chodesh, Alter Rebbe. There's 3 dinim in shtiyas hakoises before the koishel bracha. 3 dinim in shtiyas hakoises. Koishel bracha means the kois is coming for the sake of the bracha. That's the type of koishel bracha. The kois is coming for the sake of the bracha. Over here in the shtiyas hakoises, the bracha is coming for the sake of the kois. In other words, I have one din, I have to drink yain of 4 koises. That's one din. And the second din is these 4 koises have to be separated koises. Is it enough just to separate between them? Or do I need more? Each kois has to be a kois meyuchad with its own shem. The first kois has to be the koishel kiddush. The second kois has to be the koishel agod. The third kois has to be the koishel bichas hamazon. The fourth kois has to be the koishel halal. So each kois has to have its own shem. Now it has to be. Now since we're misakin the shtiyas dal koises connected dal sheni shel geula. Each kois has to have a separate concept in geula. So there's 3 din. Besides that, there's a 4th din that needs dal kois shel bracha. That the dal kois shel bracha is a 4th din that where over there the difference between the shtiyas dal kois that now the bracha is coming for the sake of the kois, or the kois is coming for the sake of the bracha. By kois shel bracha, the kois is coming for the sake of the bracha. It doesn't make the bracha into a special that you can be mitzvah, because it's just like the mitzvah with the mitzvah, it's like the mitzvah with the bracha. If the bracha comes for the sake of the kois, so then it becomes like a bichas mitzvah. Because since it's a mitzvah, you bring the kois. But if the kois is coming for the sake of the bracha, so then the kois is coming for the bracha, not the bracha for the kois. The kois has the bracha has its own hagdor. So it comes out according to the Alter Rebbe, according to these shittas, it comes out this 4 dinim. Are they separate dinim? Obviously, they're intertwined one with the other. But 4 nekudas. in Dal Kais Shabrach. In Dal Kais. One is Shtiyas HaKais. Two is separate Shtiyas. Three is each Kais has to have its own Shem. And that's why the third Kais has to be a Kais of Bichas HaMazon. Like according to the Pri Chodesh. And that's what the Pri Chodesh writes. And according to the Pri Chodesh. Then there's a separate din that al kois we're working brocha. The dal kois shel brocha. But over there, the kois comes to the brocha, not the brocha to the kois. That's the difference between kois shel brocha and this din. Okay, is that clear? That's the two agdomas over here. Now we're going to go further. Right.
At the same time, we talk about it says you cannot be moitzi anyone else.
Oh, that's a different din. Because be'etzem, that's not paid. It's in Tov Beit Dal, right? That's a separate din, right? Tov Beit Dal. That's because it's a separate din. That's a different akudah. If you take a look, Alter Rebbe over there in Tov Beit Dal, it says that the din mish achu yevarich, that's a din d'rabban. Separate din d'rabban. Because be'etzem bichas hamazon mitzat atzmim mitzat cheftzos is a bichas hamitzvah. It's a bichas hamitzvah. Why can't it be mitzvah? Just like it relates all bichas hamitzvah. It's a mitzvah for itself. Forget about Lil Pesach. But because there is the drosha of Chazal, Mish Ochlu Yevorech. So just like this drosha, Mish Ochlu Yevorech, is mafkia from that Bechas Hamazon cannot be moitzi, different than all other mitzvahs. So also Lil Pesach, even though it's considered a Bechas mitzvah, but still the drosha Mish Ochlu Yevorech. He stresses, yes. Tov Beit Dal, he stresses. What? In Tov Beit Dal, he stresses. Here. Aber eine Jochel Wörter Bichas Hamazon. Kim shloi ochli moem. Vatei Omer v'chalti v'tzvot v'achta nishaychu Yevorech. Ein Simen Kuf Beit Vav. Kisham nizbai shemedivrei seifim hu. Shein Rishoi Yevorech Lem Bichas Hamazon. Mikazeh asmachta ba'alma.
So he agrees with the logic. Well, because of it, Akonas Chachamim.
Right. But he said that's why it was bothering me always. What's this arichas, this stress? They don't have.
It's interesting, by the way, both in Tov Beit Dal and Tov Chaim Tes, it's the parentheses to say so for the
right. Okay. So this is all right. Hamshach Ezra Hashem. Tomorrow, make sure that you chazer over all the questions because I'm not going to repeat them tomorrow. Make sure that